call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
Junor Tafa takes on Tuco Tokkos this Saturday at UFC Fight Night Nashville, Tennessee. And this is to kick off the main card, which I understand this is going to be kind of a banger on the feet. These guys throwing punches. Somebody's probably going to get finished, probably going to get knocked out. Not going to lie, kind of a low-level fight, to be completely honest with you. You know, Junor Tafa, you know, he's good for a brawl. He's good for a guy who's willing to stand there, you know, and throw bombs. Pretty technical on the feet, but in terms of overall MMA skill set, not the best. Not the best grappling, not the best wrestling. And Tuco Tokkos just not the best fighter overall, to be honest with you. But Junor Tafa, you know, he bounces around from 205 and heavyweight. This fight, I believe he's going to be at light heavyweight versus Tuco Tokkos. So he is young in his career, 28 years old, 6'3", with a 72-inch reach, taking on Tuco Tokkos, who's going to be the older fighter at 35 years old, 6'4", with a 76-inch reach. So Tokkos is going to be an inch taller and have a 4-inch reach advantage. I'm going to go with Junor Tafa in this one. You know, I think Junor Tafa, you know, he's good if he can keep it on the feet. His Achilles heel is when guys can mix in takedowns and, you know, put him on his back, where he's just kind of a fish out of water. But he's a former Glory kickboxer. He was 4-4, which isn't the best record, but, you know, still has a lot of high-level experience as a kickboxer. Has really fast jab, good combos, good counters, good defense, and head movement on the feet. A couple leg kick TKOs, unfortunately, one in kickboxing and then one against Marcos Rogerio de Lima about a year and a half ago, but he took that fight on like 24 hours notice. You know, props to him. His brother Justin Tafa had to drop out, so he weighed in that day, made weight, and stepped in on 24 hours notice, went to the second round with Lima, who I think is very good. So kudos to him, but is susceptible to leg kicks, obviously. And like I said, zero grappling, really bad takedown defense. Will grab the fence like his life depends on it to keep it on the feet. And that's the pathway to victory here for Tuco Tokkos, who, you know, can get takedowns. We saw him get takedowns in his fight with Navajo Sterling, who I think is overrated. So the fact that he was able to get takedowns in that fight, I don't really know how that plays into this one, because I don't think Sterling's as good as we think he is, but was able to get takedowns and control in that fight for a small amount of time. So I think that is the pathway to victory for Tuco Tokkos. I don't think he's going to win this on the feet. If it stays on the feet, I think he's going to get put out. But just given Junor Tafa's complete inability as a professional mixed martial artist to defend takedowns or to get back up off of his back, I think Tuco Tokkos has a chance to get takedowns there and win rounds en route to getting a decision win, maybe a ground pound TKO. I don't think he's the biggest submission artist, so I don't see a submission happening. But Tuco Tokkos, you know, on the feet, he just looks lost in there. You know, in the Sterling fight, just didn't really, you know, didn't look like he belonged in the UFC. Was getting hit, will kind of shake his head and be cocky in there. He did that against, what was his name? Was being cocky on the ground and trying to talk to him, Umar C, and then got choked out in the first round. It was just kind of embarrassing. The first time I saw Tuco Tokkos was when I was doing some analysis on Ming Yang Zong for his one of his most recent fights, and saw him get sparked by Ming Yang Zong, and was shocked to see that he was a minus 675 favorite against Ming Yang Zong, only to just back away the entire fight and end up getting KO'd. But Tuco Tokkos, you know, 10-5 record. I just don't think he's the most skilled guy. I think this will be his third loss in a row. He'll probably get cut. You know, he has losses to good guys: Ming Yang Zong, Umar C, Navajo Sterling. Has some wins over some okay guys, but mostly cans. Myron Dennis, 19-10. Brian Jackson, 1-7. You know, 9-3 is not bad, 5-1, 3-1, but then he's losing to 4-1 guys, 7-3 guys on the regional scene. I just think if this guy faces somebody with a modicum of fighting ability, they're going to probably beat him. And I think Junor Tafa is good enough to beat him. I think he'll be able to spark him on the feet, hurt him on the feet early and often before he can get his takedown game going. I think he'll get a lot of respect on the feet to the point where Tuco Tokkos is kind of just afraid to even engage and to get close. I think he'll start to look sloppy on the feet, and I think he'll get put away. You know, Junor Tafa, like I said, Achilles heel is the ground game, but even in his last fight against Sean Sheriff, who was 4-0, took the fight on short notice, I think it was. Yeah, he took it on 4 days notice, and that guy had better cardio than Junor Tafa, who is coming fresh out of training camp. So, like I said, bottom of the barrel fighters in the UFC. Junor Tafa, good fighter on the feet, not the best cardio, no takedown defense, no grappling. Lost to Muhammad Usman back in the day by unanimous decision. Not a terrible look, Marcos Rogério de Lima is very good. Lost to Walter Walker. Again, got put on the ground, tapped to a heel hook at the very end of the round, and then went and slapped him after the fight, which is just such a punk move. But other than that, I think that he's good enough on the feet to get the knockout over Tuco Tokkos, who's 35 years old, zero momentum, coming off of 2 losses. Can't beat anybody that's got any real skill. And I think this will be his 3rd loss in a row. He'll probably get cut. So I'm going to go Junor Tafa to win this fight by knockout. Thanks.